Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're doing well today. I have got a double West Coast black IPA to review for you. A style of beer I don't review enough, black IPAs, but I do like a West Coast IPA. I've done plenty of them on this channel. This is from Elusive, and this is their Double Midnight Oregon Trail West Coast Double Black IPA, coming in at 8% ABV. Elusive Oregon Trail, one of the best, if not the best, British brewed West Coast IPA I've ever had. It's an absolute class act. 5.6, is it? Maybe stronger than that. 5.8, their West Coast IPA. And it's one of the best West Coast IPAs that I think you can get in the UK. They've done a few iterations of it now. They've done red versions. They've done double versions. They've done triple. I think they did a triple as well last year. Triple Oregon Trail, which I wasn't too keen on, but I really enjoyed the double. I really enjoyed the double, but my favourite is still the classic Oregon Trail West Coast IPA, the single. But I got this. I've been sitting on this for weeks, so hopefully it's still okay. My buddy Chris and Chris's Beer Reviews raved about this beer last year when they first released it. They knocked out another batch kind of towards the early start of the year. I mean, we're in June now. Ooh. And Chris raved about this beer. And I do enjoy a black IPA when it's done properly. And I love a West Coast IPA, so I don't know why I've been sitting on this beer for so long. But we're going to get it out now. 8% West Coast IPA sounds good in itself, but with the black characteristics, the maltiness, hoping for good things. The classic artwork, but with a sort of purple and dark colour scheme to symbolise the midnight, the double midnight black IPA. Excuse me. There it is in the glass. Pretty dark beer. There is a very slight kind of dark ruby hue just bleeding through the bottom of the glass. You might just about make that out. Certainly not jet black. Thin, slightly tanned, creamy looking head on it. Let's get me snouting, see what the aroma's telling us. And that is a glorious aroma. That is a lovely combination of piney, hoppiness, and like a caramel maltiness. It smells really, really good. It is West Coast meets roasted malt. No getting away from it. Two lovely aromas combined in there. Let's get stuck in. Cheers. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that's properly good. Getting big, roasty, almost like coffee notes, as well as piney, slightly spicy, citrusy, hoppy, bitter kick that's classic West Coast style. But there's this roasty coffee note of the sort of the dark malts, the roasted malts. Great body on it. Great body on the beer. Goodness me, that finish. That finish is something else. Wow. To kind of take a minute just to kind of get me bearings here. There's not a great deal up front, apart from the body. That's the first thing I'm noticing, is how well it coats my palate. Really enveloping the whole thing. And then there is a touch maybe of citrus up front. Touch of citrus. But then as you swallow it, bosh, that's when it comes to life. And it's piney. with West Coast IPAs, generally you get like a juiciness, almost sometimes you get like orange, grapefruit notes. With this one, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting that orange. I'm not getting the juicy characteristics. It's bitter, piney, resinous, and then there's roasted malt character of chocolate and coffee all coming together. And it's really good. It's really, really good. It's putting that stupid grin on my face. I love the complexity of it. And it's amazing how you're getting so much flavour in a beer, but I'm getting it all at the back end. So you swallow it, it goes down. Nothing's kind of preceded it. You know, there's no like initial flavour. It's all at the back end, and there's so much of it. Still now, it's been a good 30 seconds since me last week at least. And I'm getting piney, bitter, West Coast vibes, but then I'm getting chocolate and coffee and caramel. Wow, that's a hell of a beer. Oh, I love that bitterness. I love that piney, almost sort of palate stripping bitterness at the back end of it. It's a really good beer. What I will say, it masks the 8% quite well, dangerously well. Doesn't drink like an 8%. Not really. It's not coming across particularly boozy. A lot of New England double IPAs, you're very aware that you're drinking a strong beer because they can be really kind of, I think the hops, the juicy side of the hops really can come through, and you're very aware that you're drinking a strong beer. There's almost like a heat, almost like a hop heat. Not getting this with this beer. I think that the pininess, the bitterness of the West Coast hops is doing enough to kind of keep that hop heat away, and then you're left with the sort of the caramel and roasted chocolate and coffee notes from the roasted malts. What's it say about this beer? Excuse me. Elusive Brewing creates beers with one eye on tradition, blah, 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 blah. This is a classically styled West Coast black IPA. Simcoe, Chinook, Columbus, classic West Coast hops, combined to deliver a resinous profile with a citrus undertone. The bitterness helps to balance the light caramel and roastiness of the malts. Yep, that's what I said. There is a caramel note to it. There's a caramel, roasty, coffee, chocolatey note. And it is balancing that piney, resinous West Coast hop character beautifully. That is a treat of a beer. That really is a treat of a beer. It's an exceptional bit of brewing from Elusive. Elusive Brewing. One of those breweries, they know their way around a West Coast IPA. Everybody knows that. From what I've heard going forward, they're going to be focusing on the West Coast IPA. They're probably going to see more stuff like this. Lots of Westies, red Westies, black Westies, double Westies, triples, that kind of thing. This is probably a debate for another time, but should a brewery focus on one style? Especially if you're a craft brewer. You know, if you're not like a lager brewer, institution of a lager brewer like a Budvar or something like that, you know where you stand with them. But when you're a craft brewer, a relatively small independent craft brewer, do you need to be doing different things? Do you think you need to be doing different things, or are you happy going to a tap room and just drinking a load of different versions of a West Coast IPA? Personally, I'm not that kind. I like to have a bit of variety when I go to a tap room. But make no mistake, Elusive know their way around a West Coast IPA, and this is another beautiful iteration of the Oregon Trail. It's piney, it's bitter, it's refreshing, it's roasty, it's a treat for the senses. It really is. It's a wonderful beer. That is a top quality piece of brewing. And I know what Chris is on about now, because that really is a piece of class. That is a lovely beer, and I think it'd be wrong of me to give it anything but a 10 out of 10. Elusive Brewing, Double Midnight Oregon Trail. I mean, I'm well off the bat with this one. This one came out months ago. But I wanted to do a review to give my honest opinion of it, and I hope they do it again because it's terrific. So there's my review, 10 out of 10. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Do appreciate it. Till next one, you take care.